United States is a nation of many stories. These are but a few of them. The Newark Boys Chorus, 35 youngsters, aged 10 to 14. They have sung with some of the leading symphony orchestras, including the New York Philharmonic and the Philadelphia Orchestra. They have performed in Europe and have given a special concert at the Vatican. They attend a very special school in a converted home in Newark, New Jersey, receiving both a musical and an academic education.
Ready and go.
To get here, they had to compete for some 15 annual openings against over 2,000 applicants. And they start by learning the basics of choral singing.
I march and I fight when the enemy is fled. We cry home to bed.
See what that is?
Marcus and Jamesburg, when you get to that section...
When they are ready to sing in the chorus, they must learn to perform and to act like professionals, for they will be called upon to give over 100 concerts a year.
The other thing is, all sopranos, be very careful on B. There. And. That's better. Okay. All right, please. From the top of the page.
They work their way through 3 long hours of rehearsal each day, under the watchful and demanding eye of musical director John Quinn. The rest of their day is spent in the classroom, studying all the subjects other boys their age are expected to master. Every boy is here on full scholarship. Funds for the school's academic program coming from concert fees, grants, and the contributions of friends, among whom are some of the country's leading corporations. These boys have come to study, to learn, and to sing. Sing a repertoire from Renaissance to rock. Minneapolis, Minnesota, a city of temperature extremes, bitterly cold in the winter and extremely warm in the summer, is today emerging as a weatherless city. A series of covered, climate-controlled skyways link the downtown area, creating a new second-story flow of pedestrian traffic that has brought vitality to what once threatened to become a decaying inner city. The heart of the Skyway is the Crystal Court. Built as part of a complex of office building, hotel, and retail stores, this enclosed plaza has become a popular gathering spot. Feeding out from the Crystal Court in all four directions are the Skyways. 14 of these passages interconnect 11 downtown blocks. The system winds its way through department stores and past shops of every kind. It connects office buildings with parking facilities, a feature which has served to reduce automobile traffic congestion on the streets. A brief pause on the way to or from work, and the pedestrian can take care of his banking needs, or he can relax in one of the several areas that make the system not just a place to pass through, but an experience to enjoy. Surprises often greet a person using the Skyways. Art exhibits, fashion shows, special displays, or musical performances are an integral and growing part of the system. The Skyway system was designed to meet the specific needs of the city and has worked so well that Minneapolis has been visited by city planners from all over the world. Already, adaptations are beginning to appear elsewhere. While in Minneapolis, the idea continues to grow. Hotel and convention facilities have become a part of the system. And passers-by casually accept swimmers enjoying the water, while winter snows fall outside. Additional Skyways are under construction, and it is hoped that 64 city blocks will eventually be linked. It is not surprising that many consider the Skyway one of the most exciting developments in contemporary city living. Two firemen running out of a private home and racing off to a fire would be an unusual sight any place. In St. Petersburg, Florida, it is one more example of how an innovative fire department is trying to meet the needs of a rapidly growing city. Experience has shown that units operating out of rented homes can meet most of a residential neighborhood's firefighting needs without going to the major expense of building a fire station. It is also a way of obtaining information. Information that is being added to other data in an effort to better plan the location of future fire stations or the relocation of existing ones. In this effort to cut down the time it takes a firefighting unit to reach the scene of an emergency, computer technology plays an important role. Other technology also finds a ready proving ground in St. Petersburg. New equipment, such as this electronic nozzle. By simply rotating the nozzle, a built-in transmitter sends coded commands to the pump truck, automatically controlling the flow of water and giving the nozzle man instantaneous control over the amount of water coming from the hose.
Pattern to a wide-angle fall. Now increase the flow another 45 knots. Back us up. And it's got a brightness switch.
Another new piece of equipment is the probe-eye, an infrared viewer designed to scan dark or smoke-filled areas to assist firefighters in locating the source of a fire.
And this is used, of course, if a hidden fire behind a wall, you can't tell because of a lot of smoke in the building. You can pull this out, turn it on, pinpoint a hot spot. That way you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to find something or lose property. And if you guys pass...
As the probe-eye scans a scene, it reads heat being given off by a person or an object, transmitting this into an image in the viewer. It has proven effective in checking for still burning embers and in locating victims overcome by smoke.
The more you focus, the more you'll get something in the view.
1026 for Adam. 51 this time.
Like all cities, St. Petersburg is concerned about the increasing cost of providing municipal services. In an effort to better utilize existing personnel, 3 highly mobile firefighting units called flying squads have been formed. One squad is dispatched to every structural fire in the city. They travel in simple personnel carriers, and they carry with them very little in the way of special equipment. Their role is to provide added manpower at a fire, and they will use the equipment of the fire company at the scene. This call proved to be a relatively simple matter of preventing the fire from spreading to nearby buildings. But if the fire had been more serious, a second squad could have been rushed to the scene without having had to call out an entire firefighting company. The use of these mobile units has cut down the number of men needed to man the city's firehouses and is expected to save St. Petersburg an estimated $500,000 a year. St. Petersburg, Florida, a city finding new ways to attack age-old problems. In recent years, there has been a growing awareness of the consumer, and increased demands have been made to help the buyer face the complex maze of the marketplace. One approach to consumer protection has been the creation of independent laboratories to test and rate the many products from which consumers must choose. Such organizations have had a great effect on the purchasing decisions of millions of Americans. Testing laboratories are today an accepted part of consumer life, But it was not so almost 50 years ago, when the first one of its kind was founded by Frederick Schlink.
This organization grew out of a book called Your Money's Worth, which was a bestseller. In fact, the first bestseller in the economic field. That was in 1927. There were so many questions asked by readers of this book, which had quite an influence in the schools, that we, Stuart Chase and I, went to work on finding answers to some of these problems, which had to do with how to buy a vacuum cleaner and what to use for cleaning windows and so on. And I spent about all my spare time for one summer just answering letters. Well, a small group in White Plains, New York, joined with me, and we got out a mimeograph publication, the first consumer publication in the world, in which we had listings of products by brand name, which was unique at that time because people were scared of being sued by some annoyed manufacturer. And this had a small circulation, a few hundred people.
Continuing the work begun in those early days, Consumer Research of Washington, New Jersey, today tests just about anything consumers show an interest in. Hundreds of products go through their laboratories every year. And if equipment does not exist to perform the exacting tests the engineers require, they will rig their own. Products are rated on the basis of such factors as quality, efficiency, safety, and convenience, with results printed in Consumer Research's monthly magazine. A magazine that reaches millions of Americans and whose sales totally support the work of the laboratory. The product tester sees his job not only as one of helping the consumer get the best value for his money, but of influencing manufacturers, moving them toward the production of the best, most efficient, and safest product. Testing, rating, reporting. Helping to inform and educate the consumer, and helping to make the marketplace more understandable. In a park in Savannah, Georgia, stands this statue of General James Charles Oglethorpe, British gentleman of rank and fortune, who in 1773 arrived aboard the good ship Anne to establish Georgia, youngest of America's original 13 colonies. He brought with him 120 settlers, each of whom had been promised 50 acres of free land. He brought, too, a precise plan by which the city was to be laid out, a plan that incorporated public squares and parks, gardens and farms, a plan so imaginative that it has survived to this day. The soft beauty of the public parks provides a tranquil backdrop for this southern city, but Savannah was, until recently, a city in decline. Time and neglect had begun to take their toll in downtown Savannah. In 1955, this historic house was saved just hours before it was to be demolished, beginning a movement to return the city to its former beauty. What began as the work of a small group of concerned citizens interested in preserving the past caught on and spread. Historic preservation became a part of Savannah's daily life. The architectural flavor of the past began to reappear. Building after building was restored. Soon, entire neighborhoods took on a new charm and a new life. Property values increased, and families began to return to the city from the suburbs. Today, over 900 buildings have been restored, all with private capital, and the work continues. Intricate patterns of ornamental ironwork adorn balconies and railings throughout the city. And if a more modern design should catch the eye, it is probably the work of Ivan Bailey, who studied goldsmithing in Georgia and blacksmithing in Germany. His continuation of this art seems to reflect the feeling that in Savannah, the past is always present. In Savannah, people may once again enjoy the architectural splendor of the past. Here and there, buildings have been maintained as museums, keeping alive the heritage of the Old South. In the 1850s, European visitors to Savannah described it as tranquil and charming. Over a century later, these judgments still hold true, along with the more recent observation that Savannah is like a good vintage wine. It should be sampled at a leisurely pace.